And this week, it's going to be short. I know I said that last week, and it ended up being an hour long.
Oops.
But I am traveling, and I got a bit of bad service, so please excuse that. So this week, I thought, it's best served to, I should say, we thought it'd be best served to kind of discuss what we learned at convention. Um, Too often people go to seminars or to a show or to convention, they go back to their business and they do things exactly the same way that they did, before they went to it. They don't apply anything that they've learned. So I've always found it helpful to kind of jot down some notes after a seminar or a training or something, or convention or a show about what I learned, and then have an active approach to trying to apply some of that. So since my signal's weak, I'm going to jump in and just, if I'm good right now, I'm going to jump in and just bring up a couple of things that really hit home for me. First thing I wrote down was accessibility. We kind of hit on it in last week's podcast, but the accessibility to be able to talk to people who can make a change in the industry, who are in positions of power. In our industry, everybody has them. They're very accessible in flooring. So getting to the show, discussing big items or big issues in the industry with people, it was really easy to get in front of and talk with, some of the leaders in our industry, as well as, being able to propose certain ideals and certain changes. So I wrote down accessibility. The other thing I wrote down that I learned a ton from was being on the Women in Flooring.
Yes.
I wouldn't call it a seminar, roundtable. That's what I was trying to think about. Yeah, that was really eye-opening to me. Probably the biggest thing I learned at convention was sitting at that round table and listening to women installers and women who are in the profession in different capacities talk about how to market to them to actually bring them into our trade. I had a bad misconception, and it was corrected in that round table. And that misconception was marketing directly to women is somehow offensive to them. And it was the exact opposite. I mean, really, every female I talked to at the show and in that roundtable stated that they want to be directly marketed to. They want to be known that flooring's an option. They want to know that you want them, and so that means you market to them no differently than you might market to a male. And I know that's not groundbreaking, but it was to me that day. So.
It was awesome to
How
hear
about
that
you?
from them, like directly from not just one woman, but almost every single one. It was just, you're right.
Yeah, there were like 6 of them.
Yeah, you're right. It was maybe more than that.
Yeah, probably. But I mean, that was really conversating. There's probably 6 of them um, that I had talked to or that spoke up in the roundtable. So it was really cool.
Yeah, it was a good one. That was one that should have had a prime time spot that didn't, I think.
Yeah, I kind of got mixed in with another one from a time perspective, didn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
but I mean, you got to start somewhere, right? And all the positive feedback can only lead to something better on the next one, the next go round.
Yeah. Well, I think that was wildly popular as well. So a lot of people were talking about it afterwards, and then conversations got deeper and deeper as we went. So, we're going to form a new marketing plan to really and advertising and job offers to really, try to expand our female installers. For those of you who don't know, we have like one on in all of our crews out of probably 200 or 300 actual individuals that work with us. From a subcontracting perspective, we have one female installer. So she's awesome. attention to detail is great. She's actually way better than the men are at taking care of her body. Like, you couldn't tell she's a flooring installer. That's one thing I think the ladies ought to know, is that you're smarter than we are. So you're gonna take care of
Well,
your
They
knuckles and
listen to their
your knees
body.
better than we did.
They listen to their body more than we do. We try to brush it off like, we that doesn't hurt that much, and just try to keep working through it. They go, hey, this isn't
But
right. Let me figure it out.
it's even like it's just they're more aware, dude. I hate to lump everybody in, but that's kind of a pretty big compliment, really. They're my experience so far is just that they're more aware of that this is a long time, this is a career, and they treat it that way, and so they wear all the appropriate, knee pads, and she wears gloves and things that just dudes don't do that often, and
well,
you would.
when we're brought into the trade, when we start doing that stuff, we're kind of bashed on by the other guys, like, oh, you little sissy, you got girl hands. Why do you need gloves? What do you need knee pads for?
Yeah.
Stuff like
That's a
that.
damn good.
And women
That's a
just
damn
don't
good
care.
point.
They're like, I'm gonna take care of myself. I don't care what you
Right.
say.
My knees don't hurt today because I wore these
Let-
all day. Yeah.
Less egotistical than us foolish men.
Yeah. Hey, we have a female working with us too, a young lady.
You got a stud working for you.
Yeah, well, this isn't her. This is Justin Bieber. But we have, we got pictures of her everywhere too. No, it makes you appreciate all aspects, right? And we might have approached that part a little differently because we were raised by a single mother, so we've never really tried to discriminate in that or put woman and a man in a category, and to sit in that round table. Like, I was in the background, just listening in, but just to sit in and to hear more than one woman's perspective was worth its weight in gold.
Well, not only that, it's, the different women had the different perspectives, which kind of touched on each other, but still differed at the same time. And
Yeah.
it was crazy, the conversation it brought, because it didn't just focus on women. It kind of brought into just the younger generation in general, and there was quite a few younger people there as well that just are starting in the industry, and to hear their perspective on why they want to come in the industry, the training that they're going through now, and then what we need to do in order to retain the younger talent that's coming in was pretty eye-opening as well. I mean, it's things that we've been saying for a while, but it doesn't mean anything coming from me, but when it comes straight from the source, there's a lot of credibility to that.
Yeah, that's a good point, because they certainly, the demographic of age in there was pretty diverse, and the younger ladies were very outspoken. And I would say, we don't. No, I don't think people intentionally are discriminating. It's not like we discriminate or write ads to not get women employees, right? We just don't do anything in particular to target them and to appeal to them, I should say, more than target. And that's really what came out in that, was like, you gotta let us know you want us, and let us know that it's an opportunity, and what it can do for our lives. And so, while you may not discriminate, you really have to appeal, though, right? I mean, it's about appealing to different people and different sectors of people, and so we're gonna try some of their ideas that they kicked around, and I'll report back at some point and let you know the response.
Yeah.
And they're just one of the things that I took away from it is CFI actually going through some huge changes in leadership, right? Leadership's been a huge thing, especially lately, to talk about. And man, they definitely have their hands full.
Well, it's a little bit difficult to make change, right? After, that's what it's about. The takeaway from this event is took away that after 30 years of the same old, it is hard to make change. And like I said, ripping that Band-Aid off, right? Just have to.
Well, I'll tell you one thing about on that subject is um, leadership is it's tough when you have an organization that's had long time. I would say in inner circle type leadership. It's tough for both parties when leadership changes. But I think if both sides, I say sides, if everybody gives each other a chance and lets some things work out, then things will. But it's going to take effort. I mean, this is a big organization, CFI, and it's a big deal to jump in and try to lead hundreds and hundreds, thousands and thousands, I should say, of men and women.
Yeah. The thing that I've seen, especially with going there this time, is that a lot of the guys that are in CFI always preach, to never stop learning and stuff like that, and to kind of adapt to the new changes and things. But then to see a little bit of pushback on the new leadership, it was like, you guys kind of got to start looking at it from a different perspective and embrace the change and see what this new leadership can do. You can't be one-sided with it, because it's always installation. You got to learn the new stuff. You got to get with the times. You got to do this, and that. And then once something that inconveniences them, or they perceive as an inconvenience, kind of stops them in their tracks, and it's like, what's going on? Because humans don't like change, but if you're not
That's
changing,
the key.
you're not progressing. And the crazy thing is I've been listening to, again, the Entrepreneur Roller Coaster by Darren Hardy.
Hey, good book, by the way.
And
Yeah, Darren.
in there, the day we got back from convention, the day after, I went to the gym, started listening to it right where I left off, and it got to the leadership part, and they have 4 things that leaders do, right? And the second one is leaders do what's unpopular, and that's kind of what Chris is going at right now. He's doing the things that are unpopular because the guys don't see it in his perspective, but also he has to do this in order to try and make a change. Either way you look at it, CFI is a great organization. There's some amazing guys in there, but in order to grow it to where it needs to be, something has to. And he didn't like the word change. Something has. What's the word we were using?
I don't remember offhand.
But,
Well, I just my 2 cents on all of that is, anytime a new leadership comes in, whether it's at a new company or whatever, that leader has to win the hearts and minds of people. So Chris has his work cut out for him, but he's, I don't know him well, but I was able to chat with him on the podcast and a few other times at convention, and he seems like he's got a good head on his shoulders, smart man, very articulate. It's going to take, if he can take some constructive criticism that is not intended to be hurtful from people. And that's the key. Like, the constituents or the CFI members have to, voice their opinions in a way that's productive and that something can come. You can't just say, I don't like that. Well, come on, give it a little bit more. What is it? How can it be better? And kick some ideas. And I heard a lot of the guys, off and on talking about different stuff. And it seems like overall, most people are going to give him benefit of the doubt. But also, you can't just, a leader can't just take his ideals and run with it and not have any openness for feedback. So hopefully everything goes well. This was first convention with someone new, so you would anticipate some kind of
Tension.
I wouldn't say, tension. That's probably the best. There you go.
And that's what it was too. I interjected during that thing too, but there was really no good way for him to get that out, right? So he just chose to get it out. Could it have been approached a different way? Probably, but it probably would have taken a little bit longer. And I think his idea is that it's been being tiptoed around for a very long time. Now it's just time, you know what, just jump in.
Well, get them out there and get some feedback and stuff. So who knows what'll happen. So I'm excited to hear, you know, how that and observe how things, you know, might change a little bit or morph or just whatever ideas come out of it. I'll tell you one thing, anytime you challenge humans' minds, that gear starts moving, and there's probably some good dialogue that'll come out of all this.
There's a lot. There's a lot.
So
there's
what
great
else did you
conversation.
guys, oh, sorry about that, Daniel.
No, there's just great conversation. I keep on trying to mute Microsoft Teams, but nothing that I do is muting it. So
Now, what were you gonna say?
Technology. So what else did you guys learn what did you guys learn that you might be able to apply? And I'm going to keep this at 20 minutes today. So I got 4 minutes. Sorry to anybody watching. I'm just traveling, and I just got back from CFI and had to jump on an airplane and go elsewhere. So sorry about this
No, you're
being a little
good.
bit shorter, but
So, Daniel and I didn't know if this was said there or if this was a conversation, but passion doesn't pay the bills, right? But it could put you in a position to meet the individuals that could help with that along the way. And that's like I said, I don't know if it was a conversation that was said from stage or just general conversation, but it was one of the things that stood out that I absorbed.
yeah, action, not passion, pays the
Action,
bills.
there you
Or
go.
you could probably say action plus passion pays the bills.
right, because
Yeah,
there's
yeah.
a lot. What's the CFI motto?
If it's to be,
If it's to be, it's up to me. And then
Yeah.
like he always says that's what we always say is don't talk about it, be about it.
yeah,
Stop talking about
Yeah.
it and do it. Like it's about that time to where there's a lot of conversation about doing things, and then you go to these things and there's that conversation, and then it dwindles down, and then you go to another one and you talk about the same things, and then it dwindles down. And it's about that time for us to kind of pull together and start doing it instead of talking about it.
yeah. If anybody out there, if you're going to attend an event because you're trying to better yourself or your company, and you come back and you feel that fire, that passion, act on it. Don't let that fizzle out. You got to act on it. You got to do something, even if it's one or two small changes, one small change. Like, do something. That's what you're going there for, right? Don't waste your time or your money. Go there, do something.
And Danny Sherman says hello, and Rollin says he doesn't think that we can only be 20 minutes. But we don't have a choice today, right?
That's
Got things to
right.
do.
Challenge accepted, Roland.
What about you? What about you, brother? So you can go ahead and close us out since I know you got to go. So,
Well, I was just interested. I think you just said it. I mean, if anything, we really talked up about going to shows and conventions and look better in yourselves. You just heard Daniel talking about reading Dan Hardy's book about what was the name of that
The
book again, Daniel?
Entrepreneur Roller Coaster.
I'll have to pick that one up. But, you know, reading books or anything you do to better yourself, the key is, like, what are you going to apply? So I would tell you it's invaluable to go to these things. If you go, take some notes, and then go back and apply, like Jose just said, you know, one or two items. It doesn't even have to be big items. And if you do that religiously, you build that habit of going to you know, some thought-provoking, and you might even be challenged at some of these things, your ideals. But that's a good thing, guys. We don't need to be so stuck in our ways that we can't be malleable and change a little bit. So, you know, I think you said it all, Jose and Daniel, is like, if it is, you know,
If it's to
don't
be, it's
don't
up to
talk
me, right?
about it, be about it,
Don't
you know,
talk.
like,
Let's stop
like-
talking and start doing, man. That's like deep down, I feel that because you always know kind of what needs to be done, but it's also human nature to kind of procrastinate on things, right? We need to kind of all pull together and start getting the things done that need to be done, and it's going to take the entire industry to do it.
Yeah, so like just to kind of cap this whole thing off, I mean, the major things facing our industry is the same with most skilled labor, is a labor shortage. Labor shortage and the problem is we're fighting all the other specialty contractors like electricians and painters and drywallers and ceiling guys and concrete guys or companies. And so we're kind of all fighting for the same pool of people. What I would say is if we can maximize the labor we have now, we have some ideas about that. I'm going to be releasing a white paper here in the next few weeks about just maximizing our current labor pool, and which will help. But so we had the labor shortage. I think women in construction in general, but particularly in flooring, is another big ticket item that we can really put some focus on and do something about. I am doing something about that, you know. And then, of course, I believe Daniel touched on it earlier, was leadership. There's a lot to learn off of that. I'm telling you, you go to something like this and you see all the different players and things, and you catch this sense of what it's like to go in and take over something like this, like CFI, and the challenges there, and the CFI community, and you learn a lot about leadership. So I think all those things, those are the biggest takeaways I had. You know, I know labor shortage been preached on for forever, but
for like 40, 50 years now.
But it's there, and it does seem like people are doing something about it finally. So I'm very happy with that, and I hope to participate in it too, if possible. So, any closing words, gentlemen? I think Roland won because 3:21.
Yeah, he won. I looked, he may have 1 minute left, but I guess closing words for me would be the list of items that you can do wrong is always going to be a lot longer than the list of items that you need to do it right. So keep
That's an
yourself in
interesting
mind.
insight.
All right, and then I'll just kind of go from a different book, and they say the changes that you have to make are not hard, right? They're pretty easy changes. It's implementing those changes is what takes the time. So, you know, no one's saying that it's hard, but it is going to be difficult to implement those changes because a lot of it has to do with habit, and you can't. Danny Sherman says right here, you can't grow without change, and let's stop talking about it and let's start being about it.
Yeah, I've heard it said, it's simple but not easy.
Yeah.
Right. These are simple things, but it's not always easy.
Yeah.
So, all right, gentlemen. Well, thanks for joining me again this week, and it was a pleasure hanging out with you guys last week.
Always,
and
appreciate it.
we'll catch you on the next one.
Hey, safe
Sounds
travels.
good.
All right, thanks, guys.
Yep.
All right, bye.